Okay, I am kicking off Crocheting with King #2, and I'm going to read 2 books, only because one of them is kind of a novella short story, and so I want to read 2 of them, but I'm surrounded by dogs. Let me show you. Well, as soon as I tried to get them on the camera, they ran away. Anyway, I'm also at my mother's house, which is in the middle of being renovated, so that's why it looks like this. So anyway, be patient with our mess in this, at least the beginning of this video. So I am on round 51, though as I'm looking at this pattern, round 51 has, I don't know, they all have A and B and C and D because they are making crocodile stitches, which I've seen before, but I've never done before. So I'm trying something new. However, what am I going to be reading? I'm going to be reading The Shawshank Redemption. It's actually called Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption. And then I'm going to be reading The Shining. I was supposed to read The Shining first in my order just because I was going longest book to shortest book. That was the only reason that I had an order. But The Shining is not ready yet in my library Libby app. And The Shawshank Redemption is. So that's what I'm starting with first. It's only a 4-hour audiobook. So when that's done, I'll switch over to The Shining. But I'm going to see how much I can get done of, this is the foundation work for crocodile stitches. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. See if I can avoid these dogs as well. So I have done 51, 52, 53, and 54, part A. And now I'm about to start on part B. And I have a puppy who's under my blanket that I'm working on. And so right now what I've done is I've made 4 rows of all these big holes. And this is supposed to be the foundation for my scales. They're called, because it's a crocodile stitch. And so that is what I'm about to do, is start over here doing some kind of crocodile stitch. And it looks like I'm going backwards because, so I did 51, 52, 53, 54. And when I turned it around, it's 54, 53, 52, 51. So we will see how this looks. As far as a book update goes, I am almost finished with Shawshank Redemption. It's been really good. I'm going to finish Shawshank and then I'll tell you what I think about it. I just wanted to show you the 4 lines on my crocodile stitch that I'm making. I've never done this stitch before, so I'll be back. Okay, editing Amanda to say that I probably look the same as everyday Amanda. However, I am editing this video and realized I can't find the clip where I talked about the end of the Shawshank Redemption. Like, I know I did it, but I can't find it. So, here we go, a week and a half later, 2 weeks later, to try to remember what I thought about it. All right, first of all, here it is. I have a physical copy. I read this book not because it's part of the Dark Tower, but because it was recommended by Heather from the Soggy Expat Book Nerd. One of the things I was doing for an October readathon was to read a book recommended by a friend, and this is what she recommended. It is short, of course. It's a novella, according to Stephen King. It's like 100 pages. It was so good. So we're being told this story by an inmate who was in prison with another inmate called Andy Dufresne. And so our narrator is telling us about Andy and why he ended up in the prison and what happened to him while he was there and kind of what happened to both of them and how they grew and changed. And we do learn why the narrator is in prison also. And we just really get to know Andy through this other guy talking about him and the things that were important to him. But you always get a feeling that there's something that you don't know. Like there's something that the narrator doesn't know either about Andy. Andy, of course, claims that he is innocent, which a lot of people do. And so you never quite know either. I mean, you kind of think that maybe he's innocent, but you never quite know that until later on as well. There are things that happen at the prison, and we just kind of see what goes on. This book was so good. I mean, I just think that Stephen King is great at creating characters. And so I loved both of these main characters, and I can't wait until my husband reads this so that we can watch the movie. But anyway, I'm going to send you back to past Amanda and what was going on with the blanket and beginning The Shining. Okay. I haven't done a big spread out update since I started The Shining. This is where I am right now. These rounds are rolling up the thing right now, and that's just because I don't have them finished yet. But this is where I am right here working on the second row. So you start from the outside and you go in. So there will be 4 rows of these. They're called crocodile stitches. And then once I'm done with those 4 rows, I can actually lay it out and spread it out. But this is what it looks like right now. We've got a big bubble right there too. So once I can get it all spread out and laid flat, I think we'll be able to tell. But it takes so long to do these. There are 75 of these little stitches around the whole thing. And just doing 75 of these, you wouldn't think would take that long, but it does, because they're in a weird spot. So I have to like go one direction for 5 of them and then the other direction for the other 5. So it just takes a bit. But anyway, there I am. I'm technically on row 53B. So it was 51, 52, 53, 54, and then I did 54, and now I'm doing 53, 52, 51. And so when I finish that, I'm going to actually break off my yarn. And this is what's left of my second ball, second 1 pound thing. So we've almost got 2 pounds of yarn in the blanket. Oh, and since they're here, we'll say good morning to the dogs. Hi, Jango. You got your sweater on? Hi, Skeeter. Are you licking my bed for no reason? That's disgusting. Okay, I need you to not get on my blanket though, so I gotta pick it up. Boop. There we go. Well, hello. It's a bright and sunny day today, and I updated you on what the crochet project was looking like, but I didn't update you on The Shining. And so I am, let's see how far. I am about this far through The Shining. I am on chapter 18, called The Doctor's Office. And I saw the movie earlier this year. So I thought for sure, like, I'm going to know everything that's happening. And I do for the most part, but there are moments where I'm like, I don't know that was in the movie. But one of the things that I think the book has that the movie just can't possibly have is that so much of it seems to be from Danny's point of view. Danny is the little boy. And so if you've seen like a preview of this movie or whatever, you've seen that there's a little boy in it. But just so much of this book seems to revolve around him and what he can see and kind of the premonitions that he gets and how those might or might not come true and what they mean. And I just think that so much of it is Danny, so much more than what the movie can portray, because you just can't be inside the head of the little boy in the movie. So the movie seemed to be a lot more confusing to me about like what was causing the things that go on. And I do hope the little boy sees visions and he sees a person that kind of guides him through the visions. So I do hope that at some point we find out what that is, other than you have the shine, which is what he was told. And so I don't know. I just hope that we find out a little bit more about it, but we probably won't. Anyway, that is where I am, and that is what is going on. They are up at the hotel. They've been there for a couple of months, I think, at this point, maybe just 2 or 3. And they're still able to go down into the city, into town. And so they've taken him to the doctor just so everybody can have a physical before they're trapped up there. And Jack, or John, the dad, is an alcoholic who has been sober for quite a while now, but he does keep thinking about wanting a drink. And I remember that part from the movie, that there wasn't really alcohol there, but at some point he found it or got it or something. I don't know. But anyway, I'm still kind of confused because I'm putting what I know from the movie and what I'm reading from the book kind of together in my brain, and I probably need to stop that and just think about the book because that's what I'm reading. But anyway, I'm liking it. The blanket is slow going, and it makes me annoyed that I listen to a lot of The Shining and I barely get anything done on the blanket. But it's coming along. It's just going slowly right now. So that's where I am. That's what's going on with this. I'm not going to read anymore until after I get done with work today, and then I will crochet and read some more. So possibly tomorrow or in a couple of days, I'll update again where I am in the blanket and where I am in The Shining and how it is all going. I am probably about 80% of the way through with The Shining, and I haven't done an update, and it's because I am at a part in the blanket. I think the airplanes wait until I'm filming and then they drive by. Also, that is a dog in that blanket. He's cold for some reason. He's always cold. I am about 80% of the way through, maybe 85% of the way through. I'm not really going to say where I am and what's happening because once I finish the book, I'll do a whole spoilery review. The reason that I haven't updated is because I'm at this part in the blanket where I'm making very tedious kind of work. And so I think that it's going to take me the full audiobook to just get 4 rows done. So I am going to update. I am on that 4th row. And once I finish that, I have to lay the whole blanket out because then I have to do some stretching stuff. So I'll show you all that when I have to lay it out. But for right now, let's talk about The Shining. So I had the preconceived notion of what happens from the movie and from all the memes and, like everybody's seen Jack Nicholson's face in the door and he's like, here's Johnny or whatever. So I feel like everybody's seen that. And there's a couple of other scenes that are just like iconic. First of all, there's like the twin girls at the end of one of the hallways or whatever. I've still not seen that yet in the book. So there's just certain things that happen in the movie, and I don't know that they happen in the book, or I don't know that they happen in the same way in the books. But I think you understand what the shine is a lot more in the book than you could possibly understand in the movie. Just there's not enough a way to do it, right? There's not a way to show what's inside somebody's head. So anyway, it's about to start picking up. I know where I am in the book, and I kind of know what's about to be happening because I've seen the movie. So it's ramping up to get to some things happening, but I like it. I don't know how I would like it if I hadn't watched the movie. I can't separate that out, and that's kind of annoying to me because there's a lot of Stephen King books where I haven't seen the movie and I can just read the book and enjoy them for what they are. But I have noticed when I was reading it and now when I'm reading The Shining and even a little with the Shawshank Redemption, if I already know what's happening because I've seen the movie, then it's almost harder for me to get into the book. Maybe it's the reason that I can't reread books. It's just that once I know what's going to happen, it takes out all of the excitement and anticipation and all of that stuff. There's still some of it there, and I will say that this book has been really scary. I mean, not as scary as I thought it was, and definitely not oh my goodness, buddy. Definitely not in the same way, but it's scary. So I'm going to go hang out with Jango for a little while. 10-year-old dogs are just needy, man. They're needy. And this is how big the thing is. I just finished the 4th round of the crocodile stitches, and Jango is loving it. So he's laying in the middle of it. But I moved my dining room table out of the way so I could lay it out in the floor. I love how it looks. It needs to stay stretched for a little bit so that those last 4 rows of crocodile stitches can get done. Yeah, he likes it. Well, I have finished The Shining. And I didn't get a lot of rows done just because of the 4 scalloped rows. Those took twice as long because I had to do 4 rows of the base and then 4 rows of the scallops. And then I've done 1.5 more rows since then. This is 1 row. And right here is the next row. And I've gotten to right here about halfway. It started right over there. So that's as far as I have gotten for The Shining. And this is it on my king size bed. I like the way it looks. I like the way all the different rows are looking together. And yeah, I like it. And I'm ready to keep going. Okay, so I was cooking dinner and I put it in the oven, and then I was like, oh, before it gets dark outside, I need to talk about The Shining. So only because then I wouldn't have light in here, not because I would get scared talking about The Shining. Anyway, The Shining. I have a physical copy of this book, and it was so good. I didn't read any of this physical copy until actually the epilogue, because this, of course, is my crochet book. So when I got to the epilogue, though, I put the crochet down and I listened to the epilogue as I read along in this book. I've seen the movie, and now I've read the book, and I will say the movie is way different from the book. And the book is so much better than the movie. So I don't even know that you can compare them. And my husband said that Stephen King wasn't happy with the way the Shining movie was done. And I mean, I can totally understand if that's true. I didn't go look it up to see what he actually said about it. But I just feel like the characters, especially Jack and Danny, the father and the son, we get so much more information about them in the book than we do in the movie. And I know in the movie there's no way for us to show what Danny's thinking and what's going on with him. But Jack seems like a completely different character in the movie than he is in the book. And I mean, there was just so many parts that were different, major plot points that were different from the book and the movie. And I know we're not here to compare the books and the movies. So I will say that the actual story of this, I really liked. There are huge trigger warnings for spousal abuse and child abuse. And so any kind of domestic violence issues, if those are triggers for you, please do not read this book. Because there's not even a way to skip it, I don't think, without missing huge chunks of the book. So final thoughts. This book was so good. What happens is we get a family that is hired to go to this mountain resort hotel that is in the mountains of Colorado. And usually, and it's only open for 6 months of the year, because the other 6 months it's snowed in. There are no snow plows that go up there. And so they hire usually one person to stay up there by themselves, because they just need to keep heat rotating through the hotel. They need to just make sure nothing happens. They're just the caretaker while it's closed. Well, our caretaker, whose name is Jack, goes up there with his wife and his 6-year-old son, and things happen. So, and it's not the first time. The guy who's hiring him is I'm a little worried about hiring you, because the last guy that I hired, who had a wife and kids, took them all up there, and when we went to check on them, he had killed his wife and his kids and himself. And so Jack was like, yeah, that's not gonna be us. We're fine. Well, they were not fine. Anyway, that's it. You find out what's going on at the hotel, what has happened before at the hotel. You find out why it's called The Shining and what the shine actually is. And you meet Dick Halloran, who might be my favorite character in this whole book. I love Danny, but he's 6 and he doesn't have a ton of personality. I just kind of feel bad for him because he does have the shine, and so he knows things that he shouldn't know as a 6-year-old, but I think Dick might be my favorite character in this book. Anyway, it was really good. I didn't get a ton done on the blanket just because everything I was doing was so intricate. So you saw that clip where I talked about what I had done and where I was. So I'm excited for the next book, which is The Drawing of the Three, because I'm going to get to go work more on my blanket and do the stuff that I've been doing. And then this also takes us back to the Dark Tower series. This is book number 2. And I'm going to try to take that sticker off. That's where we are, and that's what's going on with my reading for my Stephen King. Hey, it came right off. I mean, you can still see the residue, but whatever. So that's where I am for my Crocheting with King. If you have read The Shining or The Shawshank Redemption or Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption, then please comment below. If you've seen the movies or if you want to talk about what the differences are, I would love to do that. So let's talk about it. I will see you in my next video. Bye.